we are going to talk about how much do we need to live in Dubai. Now, when I came in 2006, my salary was fixed. It was around 3,750. So I got a job back in India to work in Dubai, and I came on visa and that stuff. So I did not have to struggle on anything, to be honest. 3,750 for me was a very big money, and I had no clue before coming to Dubai that how can I survive and whatever, but it all happened. It was all smooth. The companies here take care of you most of the things. They will help you with the accommodation for the first few days, so you can then sit and search how you want to go about it, But 2006 when I came, the rents were pretty high here, and there were not so many options, and all I knew was that sharing was one of the thing, But being in India, I didn't know what was sharing the room or sharing the house or whatever, because I know only rent or you own your house. These are the two concepts only I knew till then. But then I came to know that you can have one house or apartment or flat. If you have 2 bedrooms, you can give 1 bedroom to any other couple. That's called sharing the rooms, sharing the apartment. But there's another option. In a room, you can have 4 or 5 different girls, and that's called sharing a room. So that was a new concept. Sharing a room or sharing an apartment helps the landlord, whoever the owner is of that this thing, to save on his rent, because the rents were pretty high. So for me, the only option was sharing the room with the others, So I managed to get a room where I used to pay 800 to 1000 dirhams, which was all inclusive. My expenses is very low because I was just new to Dubai, so I had no such commitments and that stuff, So I used to send home money and everything, and still managed to save something here and there. So in my case, I was lucky and blessed enough to start with a good salary. It was good for me. It was very good, to be honest. But then I realized people come with very high salary, much more than mine, obviously. People earn a lot of incentives because if you are a real estate agent, if you are working in a financial industry, then obviously there are incentives, so they come up with very big salary. So those people live in a different areas, and I was living in a place called Karama, which was small Indian, you can find major Indians, I feel there. That was the place which was commonly spoken then for me, because I did not know any places in Dubai, nothing. I knew only 2 places. One was Jebel Ali, because that was my workplace, and one was in Karama. But then I realized people can live, obviously now 3,750 was a big money for me, and I could manage with that. There were people who were having bigger salaries. They were living in, for example, my boss, who was a partner in the company, he was living in a posh apartment which was 100,000 per annum, per year. I mean, his apartment was amazing, very nice. So obviously their expenses must have been very high. He had 2 kids and his wife, and he, and cars and maid and everything. So obviously his expenses are high. But then over the time I realized that there are people who are having a salary of 800 to 900. I recently knew that with people are some small jobs, this electricians or helpers and that stuff. They come with a salary of 1,700, but there is a click in that, the company tries to provide them the accommodation or give them some food or something of that sort, labors, especially the labors come with the low salary. So what I realized is you can come with any salary. You can come, if you want to survive here, you will survive in any case. You have any salary. And most importantly, what I realized was there are many people who don't have salary also, because some of them don't have visa, to be honest, which I've heard about it, but I don't know how does it work actually. There are many people who don't have visa. They do this small teeny mini job of helping here and there and that stuff. Obviously they are not legal, so they cannot get a job easily, or maybe they don't. I really don't know how does it work. But a person who's earning 800, 900 dirham salary, for them the accommodation is provided, so that helps them, But I don't know, in 800 dirhams how this really survive is something to be questioned. And their working hours are more hard than us. They leave at a certain time, because their accommodations are given sometimes not very near to the place where they work. It's given pretty far, So they'll have a transport which will come and pick them up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever. Then they drop them to that place. Then in the evening they come and pick them up at 7, 8 or whatever. Then they go back to the room and then they cook and that stuff, like some people. So the point is, to really to survive, you need now in current days, that's in 2023, according to me, if you want to have a better life, you need to have minimum salary of 5,000 dirhams minimum, like, you know, because the cost of living has gone high. It's not the same what it was in 2006. It is, nothing is same, like, you know, when I came in 2006, you would get a chai for 50 fils, which is now not so easy to find. But maybe there will be one of places, maybe somewhere in the corner cafeterias, which are selling that, but otherwise it's quite difficult. I used to eat shawarma. Like, shawarma was like 1 dirham 50 fils then, like, you know, and the shawarmas were really filling ones. So a biryani would be like 10 dirhams, 8 dirhams, 10 dirhams and all. And good biryanis. It's not like something like from shady places or something like that. Very nice places, the famous restaurants then. And yeah, so one biryani would be like, for me, it would be sufficing for 2 times, like, because okay, then I was not a very big eater, must be. So I would take it for the night dinner and then have it on the next day afternoon for the lunch also. So that's how I used to manage, like, you know. And rest of the expenses were not high then, like everything, like you would find things damn cheap. But now it is not like that. Now see, the fuel expenses are increased and the commuting options are more, but still they're quite expensive. Because then I remember the taxi fare when I just came, it was like how much ever the meter shows, like there was no minimum charges. Then the minimum charges came like 3 dirhams, like minimum 3 charges. Now it is like minimum 7 or 10 dirhams, like, you know. So that perspective, the things have been very expensive, and competition is also there. Getting a job itself is quite difficult these days. So overall what I felt was, after understanding all these things, the person who has got a job also survives here. Who doesn't get a job also survives here. So even if you have 1,000 dirhams, you can survive here if you want to. And if you have even 10,000 or more than 10,000, if you don't want to survive here, you cannot survive. So that's the simple thing. And the problem is the salaries. Like, see, when I had 3,750 salary, I was okay in staying in a sharing room. Okay, it was very difficult to be honest, like, you know. But I was lucky enough, again, within 6 months of my probation completion, I got an increment of 1,000 dirhams. That's when I realized that I cannot stay with the sharing thing, like, you know, I had to move, like. So I took a small space. There was a storage room in one of the house, and they told me they're going to charge me 1,500. Believe me, that storage room was very small, but I needed it because I wanted my own space where I could just keep anyhow, and I did not wanted anybody to wake me up at their time or disturb me or something like that. So I managed to do that, like, you know. So the overall point is, to survive in Dubai, it's up to you. You like it, you will survive. You don't like it, you cannot survive here. What do you think about it?